Okay, hello friends. So Abhishek is again with us. You might have seen him a couple of weeks ago. We have done one session on PwC, and this session is continuation of that session. This is part two of that PwC Scrum Master interview, which Abhishek has given in the past. So welcome one more time, Abhishek, and thanks again for giving your time. Before we start, friends, Abhishek is working as a Scrum Master with 10 years of total IT experience, and I think recently, last week only, he has cleared his PSM2 with 100%. So you can think about this guy. He's really working hard, and I wish all the success in life, Abhishek. And with this note, over to you. Why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit in brief, and then we'll start our Q&A session, Abhishek.
So thank you. So I have already given my brief, but before that, a big thanks and for your love and support for my last video to everyone. And it was an equal opportunity for me to learn new things. I got many requests from you all, so I am really grateful to you. And one thing, without appearing PSM1, I was appearing for PSM2 and got 100%. So it was you can say a big achievement for me. So I was very happy. And to start with, one suggestion to everyone that for whenever you are getting any interview link, interview schedule link or the link, try to find out who is going to take your interview and just try to reach their LinkedIn profile or in Facebook, so that it will help you to understand the behavior of that person. What kind of example you can put in that next round, what kind of thought they would like to have. For an example, a person, maybe he is loving for travel, so you can give example on the travel one. Someone maybe foodie, you can give example on food, so he will easily able to relate. So that one thing I really wanted to share. And thank you again, Sunan, for giving me this opportunity to speak in this platform.
Hey, thanks, Abhishek, for that. In fact, I was working on one video from long time. For whatever reason, I'm not able to finish. But then I'm creating one session on preparation before the actual interview, even before when you appear for any interview. What are the prep which you can do with respect to any interview, not only Scrum Master, but any. And this is like one of the point. If you're not getting the call, what is the reason? If your resume is not selected, or if you know a lot of things but you're not able to speak, what are the different keywords, this and that. So I'm preparing one session. Hopefully in future I will finish that and then we'll publish it. Okay, Abhishek, thanks for sharing that tip. So shall we start, Abhishek?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so here's the very first one. As a Scrum Master, what are your key contribution and how many teams you have managed so far? What is your team size? If you can just tell us a little bit about all these things, that will be great.
Yeah, so the highest number of team I was able to empower 3, but to be very honest, after 2 or 3 months, I felt that I was not able to empower 3 teams at the same time. So it was better to be honest, and I have placed this one to the project manager that I think I am not able to bring the value for all the team members. So I was able to do the same thing parallelly for 2 teams, but after certain time, when I felt that yes, one of the team become matured enough, then I again asked the project manager if he can consider me to take the another one. So that is the answer for the first. And as a Scrum Master, there are many scenarios. What I can think of, the recent example is that just 2 months back, one person put the resignation, but I was able to give him the guidance based on some story or based on some experience, was able to motivate him, and he has withdrawn his resignation. So that was one of the biggest achievement for me, because to have the sound resource in the team, always maintaining the velocity or always maintaining the success factor. Second one is that there are many things, like I am having experience in testing. So a few years back, when I was up in a project based on Australia, so there was a scenario that the vendor company was doing the overall execution, development and testing, but there was no test summary report or no text execution report was uploaded. It was just blindly passed and failed. So during the weekend, I was just going through based on my curiosity, because having the testing experience. So I found that there was no screenshot So in a single word, there was no evidence what I can talk. So I brought that thing in front of the management, and they come to the conclusion, yes, without have that, it may be a failure in future during the audit part. So they again re-emphasize that part. The test team started the execution with the proper screenshot, although the overall project getting delayed, but we didn't compromise with the quality. So that one thing I brought when I was not matured enough, but helped me to bring the value. And another important thing, what I feel, that I am very approachable. So that is one of the quality every time my enterprise agile coach suggested me, because as I am a servant leader, so team members always needs to be have a fair connection with me. They can easily share their problems, they can easily share their good things with me. So I will suggest that on a daily stand up, if you having some time left at the end of sprint, try to bring some point that you can also share your best moment you have done in last sprint. Is there any personal achievement you did? So it will help them to understand, yes, someone is giving value to their personal life also. So these are the way I try to be good in this Scrum Master role.
Okay, thanks, Abhishek, for that. Great. Okay. So next one is again a very important one, and I would rather suggest you to take your time and explain in this particular question in detail, because I think it's very important for a lot of people who's going to watch this. And the question is, as a Scrum Master, what you will do in your first 30 days, or let's say 15 days, or per sprint, next sprint, when you join any new organization or team. So what is your take on this, Abhishek?
Yeah, so many of us, before starting the career in IT, we at least have the experience of being a tutor during our college days or during our passing the school life. So from the very first day, we didn't start teaching. For the first few days, we are actually observing that the student is strong in which subject, in which particular area. So the Scrum Master is actually doing the same. So from the when you are getting onboarded, a very important thing is that I will request you, please ask your project manager to have a solid introduction of you, because that will create the picture in the agile squad team members that who is going to be your Scrum Master. So please try to reach it to your project manager and request him to have a solid introduction. Second one is that it's a behavioral skill. So the intention should be to make a very good relation with everyone. Then how can we do that? Ask these questions: that what is the organization structure from the client perspective, from the my payroll company perspective. Second, what is the product goal? Is it a migration project, or is it addressing a completely new product? Because based on that, the approach will be different. Third is that who are the team members and who are the associated team members. That means it may be possible that there are some SQL related thing, there may be some Java related thing. So you need to know that whom to reach. Actually, you are building the number of people to which you need to build the relation. Fourth one, most important thing, what I did, and it helped me a lot, that on the very first day of introduction, after the daily stand-up or anything, just book some schedule with the product owner and simply ask a question: what do you want me to pursue in next 3 months? Because product owner is the person, and you are the person who is going to create the bridge between the product owner and your agile squad. So it is very important to know the expectation from agile squad and the product owner. So this will be your list you need to have before, at least in the first week, or I can say in the first 30 days. And then you need to create a plan that, okay, this is the plan I can think of, and definitely reach to the enterprise agile coach, because I always emphasize that a mentor is always required. He or she can give you more insight which you may forget to mention, or you may forget to identify. Based on that, once you get the approval, start taking the action, and always have some metric, because end of the day, everyone need to see the result, that what the value I am getting with a Scrum Master in my team. So in one sentence, I will do the assessment part in the first 30 days, and based on that, I will try to create my plan.
That's great, Abhishek. I think you have summed up pretty well. Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on to the next one, and it's all about time box. So according to you, what's the importance of time box, or what exactly is the time boxing is all about?
Yes, so it's like the difference between 0 and infinity. What I can always tell. A simple example, all of us did BTech or any bachelor degree. There is also a time box. You need to complete it in 4 years. Nobody will allow you, you can take your entire life and complete the degree. No. Even the world is also giving you 24 hours. It is also time boxed. You cannot extend it. Although after tsunami, it has been extended by 26 seconds, but that is not considerable. So in the real life also, there is time boxed. You need to complete some task within the defined time. So the same thing actually been taken into this Scrum framework, or what I can say in the Agile methodology, that for each and every action or for each and every event, what I can say, it is time box, so that people will be able to give response or address the to the point thing, not wasting. That's not lean thinking. So and this time box actually helping them to be good in the time management. So they will speak what are the required to be done. That means they're actually doing the prioritization. So for me, time box is actually a defined duration by which or within which a certain task or events needs to be completed. And in addition, all these events should be completed followed by a productivity. It should not be like people coming, taking the cup of coffee and just completing the events. It should be productive. So this is time boxed.
Nice, Abhishek. The analogies which you have used is quite good. Good, Abhishek. Okay, so yeah, what is your thought on this DoD and DoR? And if you can also explain the flow between these two, that will be great, Abhishek.
Yeah. To addition in that, I was also not getting the question during my interview. So I asked that interviewer that flow means what, and I am telling everyone that it's okay because your role is consultant. Your role is not a student teacher that you are going to start it the response. Ask them if you are not able to clear, because the same thing will be done in your actual role. Client will ask you because you are consultant. So I asked him that I am not getting the question. So what does means, what is the flow? So he explained flow means that what are the different steps needs to be followed from to DoD to DoR. So now let me give the answer. So generally what happen as per the board in Ado or someone is using Jira. So there are certain steps that needs to be followed to make a idea or make a dream into reality. So first the idea has to come into the picture or from the stakeholders. Then we are having system analysis, we are having business analysis. After that it is moving to the PO approval because he is having the vision. Once that PO approval is done, then it is moving to the DOR, definition of ready. That means in another word you can term it as sprint ready. So what is actually telling you, definition of ready means a user story is ready to be included a future sprint to be performed. So once it is included into the sprint ready and once a sprint is kicked off, then it is moving to the DOR, definition of ready. So there are different steps. After sprint ready, it should be committed. That means we are having the estimation and the planning poker session and it should be committed. After that, it goes through the development. Development include unit testing. Once it is done, then it should be moved to the system testing. System testing done, then it will be moved to the UAT. So in UAT, the person from the business side or the PO is giving the doing the testing and provide the approval so that it is actually meeting the expectation, and then it is moving to the ready for release. So after ready for release, as per the planned release, if it is successful, the testing is done, then it is moving to the DOD, that means definition of done. So these are the steps between definition of ready to definition of done.
Okay, Abhishek, thanks for letting us know. Okay. Okay, so next one is about product backlog refinement. So how normally you guys do the product refinement? Do you use any sort of techniques or anything with respect to product backlog refinement?
Yes, definitely. So before that, we need to have an assessment that whether the product owner is already aware or already he is following any particular technique or not. If it is not, then as a Scrum Master, I can suggest. So what I have suggested in my last project is the Moscow technique. So it's nothing but the must have, should have, could have and wouldn't have. So just to give you a brief understanding on that, let's say I have invited Sunand for a dinner. And what I need to do that, Sunand, what you will need to have. So the must have functionality should be either he should have a chapati or he should have a rice. So that is the must have. Should have should be I should be knowing whether he is a vegetarian or non-vegetarian. So based on that, I can make a dish. That is a should have. Could have, I can bring some sweets, I can bring some chutney. So that is a could have. And wouldn't have that.
Sweets is must for me.
Oh, okay.
So,
So see, again, this is the thing. We are actually addressing the customer need, the working software, right? So sweets is a must for Sunand, but it may be possible in wouldn't have pork or anything other. He is not having to have as a dinner. So I should not be including that dish, or I should not be served that to Sunand. So these are the techniques. Same thing is applicable during the backlog refinement. There are many requirements are coming from the stakeholders, and product owners sometimes busted with lot of requirement. But I should suggest him that let us give the prioritization based on this technique, so that it will meet the minimum viable product, and the through the series of potential release or the sprint, we will be meeting the minimum marketable product. So this is, so we are using Moscow technique.
okay, thanks a lot, Abhishek, for inviting me.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
always invited.
Okay, let's move on. So this is a little bit kind of a scenario kind of question.
Okay.
So let's assume that your customer is looking to adopt Scrum in upcoming project, and let's assume you have 2 to 3 months of time, and your project manager comes to you, and then he just gave you that project, and he's asking you, now you need to implement Scrum into this upcoming project. So how you are going to work with project manager, or what you are going to plan to implement Scrum for your upcoming project, Abhishek?
Yeah. So I should be ready with some basic questions, because before suggesting Scrum, like before offering you any dinner, I should be knowing that you are a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian. Based on that, I can make the dishes. So the same thing here. I should ask few questions, that what type of project it is, because Scrum guide is also telling the Scrum is a lightweight framework to address the complex product through iterative delivery model. But in many scenarios, it is addressing the simple product also, because it is also emphasizing on team building, Scrum. So many times it is also happened. So I will ask that what type of project it is. It's a migration project or it's a completely new project. One. Second thing is that what are the segment? Is it from the banking or financial? Is it from the aviation, or is it from the insurance? Third thing is that before kicking off, what are the technologies being involved? Because based on that technology, I need to suggest that what kind of resource or what kind of associate we may be looking for. And fourth is that how it will be getting operated as per the proposed plan from the client side. Will it be an onshore, or will it be a distributed team? What is the location it will be operated? So these are the 4 questions I need to have. Once the response will be received for that, I need to know who are the potential associate going to be involved in this project. Once I have that name, I need to have a relation with them just to know their agile maturity level, because I cannot onboard everyone on the very first day in the sprint and start working. So if I came to know that, okay, these are the areas that needs to be improved, then again, as a Scrum Master, my role is coming to give them the teaching, that why we need to move into the agile, or why we need to adopt the Scrum. Once that step is done, then another thing is coming, that the estimation, because that's a very important factor. Working in a Scrum framework and knowing what to commit, or getting the customer satisfaction is also very important. So I need to teach them that these are the area where we should not be committing very high in the beginning. And same thing I need to communicate to project manager, because whoever is paying the money, he is always looking for the value. But agile will not add the value from the first sprint. It will take at least 3 months to give them, okay, things are actually coming onto the track. So these are the few questions, these are the few model I should be ready, and then I will present it to the project manager.
I think the key is setting the right expectation. I think that's the
Yeah.
bottom line. Okay, good. Thanks, Abhishek. Okay. Uh, now let's assume that your project manager has approved whatever you have planned, right? And now let's assume that uh, your project is about to start. So as a Scrum Master, let's say just 1 or 2 weeks, and then your actual project is about to start. So as a Scrum Master, what kind of preparation you will do, in order to make sure that your team is productive from day one onwards? So do you have any thought on that thing?
Yes, so for everything in our life also, even if you are going to office, before that it took 1 hour to get ready, right? You cannot go to office just by waking up. There is some time to, so what I can say, it's
Sorry to
prerequisite.
interrupt that, because the thing is, see, the customer is going to pay you from the day one, right? When your team is onboarded and they're actually going to start the work, right? So before that, there are a lot of different activities. I think can be anything, right?
Yes.
So how you will manage, or how you will make sure that your team is productive from day one? So
Yes,
that's
so I can tell you the same example again. So after waking up, if you go to the office, they will lose the customer because it is unprofessional, your appearance. Customer is not getting paid, not giving the payment for that. So the same thing applicable here. So if I kick off the project from the very first day, we should be ready with the prerequisites. So for a particular project, if the development needs to be done, we need to be ready with environment. We need to be ready with the proper account so that the login can be done. Another important aspect, we should be ready with all the softwares that is required, and this analysis also needs to be done. It is not like on the very first day we go and tell, "Nay, we need Power BI, we need Azure, and we will start the working." So we need to clear the ground from a development perspective. From a testing perspective, we need to see the what is the environment to do the testing, readiness with the test ID for different user perspective. And third thing is that from the system analyst or the business analyst perspective, that based on what they are going to do the analysis, are they having the proper level of access? Do we have the name of the associate from business side who will be the spock, or who will be we will be reaching to clear our clarification? So all these things is actually required. So once that will be done, so from the next sprint, that means the sprint one, we will be able to give a potentially releasable product. Now question may come, if we don't do that, then what happen? In the sprint one, instead of focusing the sprint goal, we will be focusing on this peripheral work. So as my job as a Scrum Master to remove the impediments. So again, you need to be proactive because reactive is not there. So being a proactive Scrum Master, I need to be ready with these things. So my team will run in a smooth way, not with the bumper way. So these are the things what I should be doing before getting it off. And sometimes it is called the sprint zero also. So the readiness before kicking off the sprint one.
okay. Thanks, Abhishek, for that. Okay, so what is your take on this particular statement, that responding to change over following a plan? I'm sure you might have heard this a lot of
Yeah,
times.
yes, definitely. And I think this is one of the most used or followed agile manifesto values that every day is happening, because in any Scrum framework we are having the backlog refinement. So backlog refinement is nothing but the responding to change over following a plan. It may be possible that in backlog refinement we are prioritize a story A for next sprint, but based on the responding to change, it may be possible that it is shifted to the next sprint. Just a simple example. um, my wife has a plan to have a dish like chicken and rice for the lunch purpose, and our lunch time is by 1 p.m. And suddenly at 11 p.m 11 a.m, my daughter came and she is telling, "No, I want to have egg." So my wife has to do that because the prioritization has been changed, and she needs to do the responding to change over following a plan. But the reverse scenario is also possible. If my daughter is coming at 12:45 and she is telling, "I need egg," then it wouldn't be possible because it is time boxed to 1 p.m. So the point is, responding to change is okay, but it need to be addressed being a Scrum Master, that whether we have the proper time to respond to the change. because otherwise it will be an overcommitted thing. And the business will be in a illusion that yes, it has been committed, but it hasn't been delivered. So responding to change over following a plan can only be done when we are having the adequate time and adequate amount of resource so that the change can be addressed. So this is responding to change over following a plan.
Oh, Abhishek, thank you for that. Okay. Yeah, so this one is about TDD and BDD. So if you have worked on TDD and BDD in the past, you can share your experience with some examples, if at all possible, Abhishek.
Yeah, so to be honest, I worked in TDD, but BDD I didn't work. And the TDD work actually happened 5 years back. So it was an Australian gas-based company where the situation I already told na, because the test report was not uploaded. So again, the testing has to be done. So because of that, a huge amount of time was actually getting killed. So to address the product on the time, what happened? At the end, there are many bugs are coming when the testing is going on. So we come to a conclusion that to address the product on that time, instead of focusing on the convenient way, that development and testing, let's focus on the TDD. So I just want to emphasize the points. TDD is the short form of test driven development. But please be sure that here tester is not doing the testing. And that is the main trick of this line. Actually, the developers are doing the testing. They allow the code to fail so that they can know what small changes needs to be done from a coding perspective. And then again, they are doing the testing. Now, question may come that then what is the role of tester on that time? So on that time, testers are actually adding value by bringing some additional functional thing or some negative scenarios or with some what I can say with some user IDs. So it may be an admin user, it may be a super user, it may be a normal user. So they are actually adding the value during this test driven development. So as an example, you can consider that all of us after getting job, we were looking for buying a flat, but it was not done on the first day. You analyze that, okay, this is the price I need to pay. So for that, we started working hard, started saving. So these are like test driven development. We tested what is the amount to be paid, and slowly we are doing that savings and trying to meet that goal. So this is test driven development. Now coming to BDD. BDD is actually extension of TDD. I didn't work, but I have just theoretical knowledge. So it's a behavioral driven development, mostly addressing the different stakeholders, different team members, or the different system dependency to be addressed. So that was my response for this one.
Hey, thanks a lot, Abhishek, on that. Okay. So what is your take on Scrum at, let's say, if you are working with multiple different teams, right? And how you are going to manage multiple teams in Scrum. So when we talk about Scrum at scale or scaled Scrum, right? So how you are going to manage, or if you have worked in similar kind of different frameworks in the past, you can share your experience.
Yeah, so last year I worked in one of the project, but it was just only for 2 months. So it was for, so we were adopting the Nexus framework. So that is the extension of Scrum. But I do have intention to work on the safe, but I did work in the Nexus one. So generally what happened, the product goal should be the same. So it should be a single product backlog and the product owner will be same, but it may be possible that there are many features and a single Scrum team, which is consisting of 11 to 12 team members, they are not able to address all that product backlog items. So on that time, what happened? We need to include the new Scrum team, or we need to bring the new Scrum team on board. So they are actually addressing a single product goal. So in Nexus, we are having Nexus integration team. So I worked in Nexus. That is the only framework I worked apart from the Scrum in scaling.
Okay, that's okay. Okay. Now this one is again interesting one, Abhishek. Now let's assume we already have events, right, in Scrum, right? Or different roles. We already have 3 different roles in Scrum. So if you have to introduce any new event or ceremony or any role, what it would be and why? What's the reason? Or do you think whatever is there, it's sufficient, you don't have to add? But if you have to add anything from your own choice, what it would be?
Yeah, from a role perspective, I am not sure at this point of time. I need to think. But yeah, from an event perspective, one event I, not event, one flow I have introduced in last to last project. So the problem was when the estimation was done, so people were not actually on the same page and they were giving the abrupt user story points. So it was actually killing the expectation to address the story points to be done for a particular sprint. So I was also thinking how we can come to a solution. And as I told in my last video that I spent a good amount of time over reading scrum.org or LinkedIn. So from there, I came to know one concept, 3 Amigo session. So I suggested that to the product owner and the stakeholders, and they agreed. And it brings a huge value. So what is a 3 Amigo session? So it's a time box to 1 hour. And here, a representative from the and system analyst or business analyst team, representative from the dev team, and representative from the test team, they are coming onto a single platform and they are having the discussion or the clarification that what need to be addressed, what are the environment that need to be taken care, what are the access we need. So they come to a conclusion that what needs to be done. So it is actually clearing the all doubts. So they will not ask the same question during the estimation or the planning poker session. So I have suggested that, and the business stakeholders and business agrees to adopt that. So we have implemented this 3 Amigo session, and it reduces huge amount of time, and it also add the number of user story to be added into the sprint. So I can refer as of now, the only one event is the 3 Amigo session we can introduce.
Abhishek, it's good that you have mentioned that. I would suggest let's have one session in future. You can run that session. We have already done a lot of live demo kind of session in the past. Let's try this session in future based
Yeah,
on your
sure,
advice.
sure.
Let's demonstrate this to the whole world. What is this 3 MO is all about.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
It will be
Abhishek,
an honor.
good. Thank you. Yeah, great. Okay, so this one is again an important one, and I'm not sure how you are going to answer that, but then how, according to you, you measured a success of a Scrum Master or a team, Abhishek?
Yeah, so this question was a repetitive one. In my last video also, I have given the response that it's not the success, it's the progress. So again, the same thing here. So there are many metrics, even
So
you
it
have.
means this is most asked question, because in both the rounds it's been asked, but in maybe a different way. But
But
I'm also sure. Yeah.
yes, but that's the same thing, na? Because at end of the day, everyone is looking for value, whether it's a interviewer or whether it's a product owner. So end of the day, they will be asking this question as a last question: how you will measure your success? Because based on that, he also see the success of this of his organization. So again, as I told, that it's a progress, it's not a success. So progress can be measured in many ways. So one of the thing I already described as the defect density. So it will actually add you that how the value is getting transferred to the customer. So the number of defect is coming down. The tester can think of the negative scenario. The developer can understand functional requirement very clearly. And it also demonstrates that there is a huge or the very good bonding as a team. Second thing is that, as I told, that agile is more of a people, process, and technology. So the progress has to be made based on these 3 parameters. So from a technical point of view also, whether we are actually in line with the latest technology or not. So that is another one. From a people perspective, that, as I told in my last video, the Scrum Master is getting paid because of his absence, not for his presence. So it will actually also help you to understand, okay, without your absence, they were able to continue the Scrum events. They will able to continue with the risk mitigation. They are able to achieve the potential release. So this is another point. Another important aspect is that as a Scrum Master, I need to check with my project manager and also the stakeholders that what is their take on. Why I am telling, sometime I have observed that product owner is actually shouting that this is not getting done, and it will decrease the motivation factor. So instead of that, as a Scrum Master, take that blame on your shoulder. Take that sentence at your ear. Okay, these are the things I will try to address those, because I can be polite to my agile squad. Okay, these are the feedback we can address. I can ask the same question in sprint retro, how to address. But product owner is actually getting huge pressure. He is also a human being. So try to get that output in that way. Reach out to him. Another important progress is from a process perspective is that how the innovation we can think of, because nowadays everything, even Google Chrome is getting updated in just few months, I guess, and even Microsoft Internet Explorer getting obsolete. So it become now Microsoft Edge. So everyone is getting innovated and getting updated. So that is another point I need to cultivate in my team through the sprint retro, that any area we can bring the automation, any area we can bring automation with low cost tool, or the tool that is available at free of cost. So all those things actually add the overall progress as a scrum master for me, and as agile squad for the my organization and for the client also. So those are the point I will be thinking of.
Hey, thanks, Abhishek, for that. Okay. Now this one is very important one, and I think this is again this question is asked in multiple times in multiple interviews, which I have also seen. So, as a Scrum Master, what do you think? What is your biggest achievement so far since the time you started your career as a Scrum Master, Abhishek? For you, what is your greatest achievement?
Yeah, so can I take 1-2 minutes to think?
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. So you have so many achievements, huh? So that's why you are thinking.
No, yeah,
You can explain all. That's also okay.
no. Yes, one of the biggest achievement I can think of, that PSM2 clearance. So it also shows that courage that I am cultivating from the Scrum framework values, that without appearing PSM1, I appeared for PSM2 and I have cleared on first attempt. Second thing is that I did a lot of things in LinkedIn and scrum.org. So to bring the new learnings to my team, suggesting the many free Coursera things or the Udemy things, that these are the topics you can cover to have a brief understanding on the technology involved into the current project. So actually I am trying to help my team members to not to deviate from the sprint goal. The other things I will take care, and let me serve it like I have told you, inviting you in my dinner. So that is the second one, and I am very approachable. So, and it actually helps me a lot. So people are reaching out to me, and that actually give them the assurance to work in that same team. And another thing is that I don't know whether it is the right platform to share, but I did, the people who are working with me, that I am fighting for them in terms of the opportunity, because I have to admit that everyone who is doing the work, it's because of only two things. One, because they have to be self-organized so that they will not be asking their parents to things, and they also want to increase their lifestyle. And all of these things only done getting the opportunity from the customer. So as a scrum master, I need to highlight it to my project manager that these persons are doing this thing. Try to give them the award, not every time asking the productivity. So the award may be coming from a appreciation perspective, from a onshore perspective. I am telling frankly, because this is the thing, it may be possible, allow them to give some training or coaching, so that it will be killing their introvert kind of things. They will become extrovert, they will be able to speak. So those things I am doing. So I don't know whether it is helping them or not, but yes, as of now I am very happy with my team and with my scrum master job.
Okay, okay, that's great, Abhishek. It's really wonderful. Okay, I think yeah, that's it. We have covered all the interview questions from part 2 from PwC, Abhishek. So that's really good, great. And this session comes out really well, Abhishek. I
Oh,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
all your time and effort which you have taken. And yeah, I mean, people, if you have not watched the part 1, please go and see that as well. I will put the link as well. And yeah, before we close, please give a big thumbs up. We are These people are giving a lot of their personal time to make you success. When we see a lot of success stories, it's really help And we also thought that there is at least a small contribution which we all are doing, in someone's life. So that's a really awesome feeling, Abhishek. And yeah, wonderful. Let's have a couple of more sessions in the future, Abhishek. I really like your comm skills. That's really wonderful.
Yeah, another thing I need to share. I think this is the thing I never find in any video. So that is one aspect I want to highlight. After the interview will ask you a definite question. Any question do you have for me? So on that time, you need to have a very good set of questions. So I am just sharing that. It may be possible that it will be helpful. That one of the question you can ask that what kind of characteristics you want from my end to be successful in your organization. So it will actually convey the positive vibes that you are interested to join his company. Second thing is that you can directly ask him that, will I get a chance to work with you? So it will give him that confidence. Okay, this person is actually interested to work with me and giving me that respect. And third, you can ask that I am having the aspiration to work on either safe or the next big thing. So it will also give your character to them. Yes, you are having that courage and the aspiration to move or to go higher. So these are the few things I think I need to share with you all, because these also create some line in their mind. So it's not all about the response you give, it's also your character needs to be displayed to them.
Thanks. And that remind me, friends, that we have created one video on this as well. Like, what are the questions which you have asked? I have already created, and somewhere, I think last month we have published that. So if you want, I can also put the link. But then that's good. Like Abhishek, you have given two important point. One is about LinkedIn to reach out, and obviously, what are the questions you need to ask at the end of the session. So that's really good tips, I would say, on top of this session, Abhishek. So, okay, I think that's enough. Let's not make this video longer, Abhishek. So thanks again for your time and appreciate your efforts, Abhishek.
Yeah, and thanks to all the viewers. Thank you for your love. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.